I was listening to a friend of mine, ranting about this director, writer. I don't know what the fuck he is. The guy's name is Joss Whedon, right? I think I've heard the name before. It sounds familiar, but I didn't really know exactly who it was. And he was talking about how this guy, as soon as he gets his hands on pretty much any movie that has to do with comic books, you can rest assured that it's going to be absolute dog shit. It's guaranteed. I was like, well, that's a bit harsh. He's like, well, that's true. If you let Joss Whedon have his way, we'll be in a bad spot in a lot of different ways, okay? I thought that was kind of amazing that he could, like, memorize a director. Like, this director was so impactful to you that, you said, hey, if I ever see this guy again, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to puke. I was thinking about it more, and I was like, well, is it really that, absurd of a concept? To know a writer, to know a director, to know their work, to know their signature? A joke I used to hear a lot when I was younger was, the Night M. Shyamalan, where his entire thing is, oh, but there's a twist. Oh, you thought it would be like this, but it's not like this at all. It was actually a twist at the end. You didn't see this coming. Wow, how surprising! And everyone calls that shit lazy writing. They're not wrong. It is kind of fucking lazy. It is kind of dog shit. But this was another case where, like, okay, we definitely know who this guy is, right? Even if there was a fucking, like, ghostwriter, we can tell when he's the ghostwriter. That's how familiar we are with this director, with this writer. They don't really have to have a major or positive or negative impact on you for you to remember them. It's just like common knowledge, kind of, isn't it? For a long time, this fact kind of passed me by, and I didn't really think too much about it. But now that I'm, like, after the launch of Starfield, a lot of people brought up something that, I guess I never really considered before. And that's that we as gamers have this exact same thing, where we know the name of a studio, or studio head. And we say, oh god, here we go. Many times it's undeserved, right? But it's not for an insane reason that we end up having this attachment, right? I don't think it's parasocial either. Whenever you thought about Knights of the Old Republic, for example, you used to say, oh man, BioWare's doing it again, you know? You used to have that smile on your face, that excitement. But after Mass Effect 2, we haven't really seen that BioWare, have we? Like, the developer is still there, but it feels like a ghost of its former self, and players, unreasonably so, maybe, were clamoring over and over again, like, bring them back. Bring back BioWare. You guys did it before, you guys can do it again. But that's not necessarily true. Something that I guess is missing from the player perspective of this is that BioWare isn't a company. BioWare is the people who work at the company, right? When you backed the Kickstarter for Yooka-Laylee, you backed it because Grant Kirkhope said, yep, I'm on it. You didn't back it just because it was fucking, well, maybe you did, actually. Marketing is a powerful thing. It feels like you could, once upon a time, assuredly remember that this company is going to do great things because it's this company. Blizzard's going to make something amazing yet again because it's Blizzard. Of course they're going to make something amazing. Are you kidding me? You can't be Blizzard and not make something amazing, right? I think it's only now coming into the mainstream focus that, yeah, a lot of these companies, they're just companies. And it struck me as odd that we know the developers behind we know the writers, we know the screenwriters, we know the actors, we know the casts, we know the fucking costume designers, we know the fucking voice actors for movies and TV shows and shit, but for some reason we know nothing about games. There was a witch hunt, I guess you could call it, for Emil Pagriolo, whatever the fuck his name is, the lead on Starfield, and a lot of other Bethesda titles. People were coming after this guy, saying that he is the reason that Starfield is trash. His writing is trash. And while some of these things might be true, it does strike me as a little bit odd to attribute everything that's wrong to this one lead, right? Now, of course, there's half an argument to this, right? Half the argument is, well, you're the fucking lead. You carry the buck, right? The buck stops with you. But the other half says, well, if we want to be careful, right? If we don't want to start attributing shit to people who don't really have anything to do with it, then we should be more I don't know, serious and Arvetta. That's what it feels like anyway. I kind of sit in between camps. Like, well, yes, I do believe that Emil has some faults. At the end of the day, he is the lead, right? The lead has to handle a lot of shit in the studio, man. I don't know if it was just mine, but like, the lead's main job was green lighting and red lighting. But it's kind of hard to red light something when you're off schedule and things aren't working out the way they're supposed to work out. It's hard to say no to someone when this is kind of all we have. I wanted to point out that like this isn't a movie TV show centric thing, right? It's not that movies and TVs are the odd one out. It's not odd that we recognize directors and producers on movies and TV, because when you think about bands, and you learn that a certain member is leaving, you know what that member brought to the table. You understand their instrument, the way they play their instrument, the character they brought, all that stands out. And so when they leave, you miss it. It's unique to video games alone, where we know nothing about the people who make our games, and that's kind of scary, no? It's a weird double standard that we have, that we're not allowed to pick out certain directors, producers, and game designers when they absolutely should be picked out. When you put them in a crowd, they should stand out from that crowd. It doesn't have to be a thing of, oh, they deserve everything that's coming to them, but surely we have to admit, hey, it's kind of sort of fucking weird that we kind of just have to sit here and blame Konami. Or we kind of just have to sit here and blame Todd Howard or Kojima or Bobby Kotick. It's weird that the people who are responsible for the decisions that are ruining your games, you have no clue who the fuck they are. That's weird, no? I think it's weird. I think it's strange that we are in an industry where we as the consumers know nothing about who is making our game. It ends up making us look kind of irrational for even wanting something that the film industry has, right? This nebulous thing I'm talking about, this scary thing that I'm talking about, is accountability. If you know who the director is on a movie, you're not even going to fucking... If you don't like them, you're just not going to go see it. It's a very simple equation here. With video games, however, you are spending not only 8 times the price of a movie, but you're also sitting here gambling on if it's going to be good. You have no idea who the fuck made this thing. You remember Halo Infinite? Yeah, that wasn't Bungie. And it sure as hell wasn't Normal 343. Who the fuck made Halo Infinite? What were you playing? Who made this? I think that it can sound kind of scary and petty to be like, yeah, I kind of want to know who the fuck is responsible for ruining this. I kind of want to know who I can avoid in the future. And game developers more than anyone else understand this. Okay? There's this idea that went around my office that, well, gamers don't need to hold us accountable. We hold ourselves accountable, okay? We hold each other accountable. I haven't really talked at length about the developer side of the industry because I think it's kind of boring to listen to. But it's my channel. And I want to fucking talk about it. Eat shit. So the general structure of how these games end up in these bad situations, I usually can summarize it as an issue of management, right? Someone said we had more time than we actually had. That hurt us. Someone said everything was going to be fine. Can you just put in this feature really quickly? And then no one has a clue about how the feature is implemented because it was a small team that was hiding in a fucking corner somewhere that we forgot we even had that put this feature in. Now we kind of have to deal with the consequences of this feature that is not running the way it's supposed to and is breaking everything. Video games don't have an agile environment to describe agile. Holy shit. How the fuck do I even describe agile? Okay, so there's 2 different types of development. There's waterfall and then agile. I didn't know they added sea turtles. That is kind of fucking cool. Waterfall development is... God, I don't even know what the fuck it is, because we don't do it anymore. It's old. Like, when I got into the industry, waterfall was dead. Nobody did waterfall. So whatever the fuck it is, these people come into the job interview, hey, do you know agile? Yeah, agile is all I know, actually. I have no idea what waterfall is. I don't know what it does, but I'll tell you what agile is. Agile is a methodology that has, like, one main branch development going on. right? And then here and there, on like designated points, maybe it's determined by your team lead, maybe it's organized by the entire fucking company, who knows? You are allowed to branch out from the main branch. With these branches, you can develop whatever feature you want, right? You can think of it as alternate timelines if you want, if that fucking helps you. But ultimately, the entire thing is we are developing this thing alongside the main branch. And then, when the feature is done, we merge it in. And it should integrate seamlessly. Now, of course, an issue comes along with that, right? What happens if the main branch has progressed so far that certain features of the code is just, like, missing, right? It's just completely fucking different from whatever you pulled. How the fuck do I even describe this? Have you ever made a fucking, have you ever tried patching a Pokemon ROM hack? Back in the day, if you wanted to play Pokemon Quartz or Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire... Wait, that's an actual game title. Back in the day, if you actually wanted to play any of these ROM hacks, any of these really cool games, you had to get the original ROM, right? Of like Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Ruby, wherever the base is. And then you also had to get the IPS file. IPS is just an extension. Doesn't really matter what the fuck it means. But the point is that this file, this IPS file, is patched over the actual game, over the ROM, using this piece of software. I forgot what the fucking name of it was. There was multiple pieces, actually. And once you patched it, it just worked, right? So imagine that you decided that you wanted to play Pokemon Quartz. Pokemon Quartz was running on Pokemon Ruby, but instead you picked up Pokemon Sapphire, right? Because you're like, Ruby, Sapphire, same thing, right? Can't be that much of a difference. So you get Pokemon Ruby. You sit down, you patch in Pokemon Quartz, and then you start playing it, and the game is absolutely fucked. Like, level 99 monsters, not monsters, level 99 Pokemon are just popping out of the woodwork, clapping your cheeks, and you're like, what the fuck? Why? What's going on here? Hell, you even crash sometimes, right? And this is all because you didn't use Pokemon Ruby. What the fuck is going on here? Well, there's certain underlying code, there's certain underlying pieces, there's certain expectations that Pokemon Quartz has of Pokemon Ruby. And because you got rid of the base, because you decided that you wanted to choose something else, it broke. That's the simplest way I can describe Agile development. Agile development has this thing where, unfortunately, if it takes you too fucking long to merge in your feature, it's possible that the codebase has evolved in a way that your feature is not ready to handle. Your Pokemon Quartz is not ready to handle the fact that this game just turned from Pokemon Ruby into Pokemon Sapphire. You had no clue it happened. It's it's a mystery to you. I have so many materials I didn't even notice. So I hope that was sufficient to explain what the development cycle is and how it's like. I probably should make a chest. There's going to be a lot of stuff here. Okay, so the issue with agile development in video games is that when we're... I can't speak for every studio, so I don't know this for sure. Actually, no, fuck you. I speak for every single studio. I'm always right, okay? I shouldn't even have to give you this fucking, like, this disclaimer. It should be plainly obvious. I obviously don't fucking speak for everyone, okay? But, generally, whenever you're making a feature, this shit can take months sometimes, and in the meantime, the game's codebase is expanding all the time. It's changing all the time. Like, sure, we have branches and stuff. Sure, we're not fucking crazy. There's different places where the code is and isn't. We account for that. However, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's a well-oiled machine and everyone understands what the fuck is going on when they absolutely do not. There are quite a lot of times where we'll have the studio lead saying, okay, you know this feature we were just working on that we just put like fucking 30 hours into? Okay, it has to go. It's like, what the fuck do you mean it has to go? We've been working on this feature for like the past 3 months and now it's dead? We're not using it? Nope, we're not using it. Are you kidding me? No jokes. Like, that's how drastic these changes are. Like, I'm sure it shows in certain video games, but in these bigger studios, well, they will have these builds that test out this one feature, but then we have another build that tests out a different feature. And that build also has this crazy new technology that makes the game perform like 60% better that the programmers put in because they were on the wrong branch, or maybe it was completely fucking intentional. And they were under the assumption that, yeah, this is going to be the main branch going into the future. This absolutely staying. This is it. But then we have this switch up. We have this fucking feature cancellation. We can't do this feature anymore, guys. We have to switch it up. This isn't going to happen. And now this branch kind of has to go into the trash. However, this is where the this is where the programmers just put all their fucking work into. The optimization is on this branch of the code. So we can't just get rid of it. We obviously have to port things over. We have to move things from that branch to this branch. And of course, whenever this happens, because no one ever sees this coming, it's like, oh shit, it's no shit moment. No one expects this to happen. And we end up doing it incorrectly. You know, because we're in a fucking rush. We have deadlines to meet. There's expectations that, okay, fuck. I have to explain this as well. There's these people that I call the money people who come into the fucking studio every other week and they say, hey, you remember that, because like them, the money people, and our team leads will agree on a timeline. They will say, okay, this is the budget that's allocated for this time period. These are the features we expect to be done. And the features are usually assigned by the team lead. They say, okay, this is what we can do. This is what's likely. And let's account for delays, so give us a little bit more time. And okay, yeah, there you go. Solid timeline. But, it doesn't always work out like that. The fucking money people come in, and they'll be like, hey, so where's that stuff we agreed upon? And the team lead has to say, yeah, that's not going to fucking work out. We had to scrap it. Okay, well, what do you have? Now, this looks really fucking bad if we have nothing to show for it, right? If we do all this fucking work, if we use all this money, because remember, they're paying us. They're paying us to sit here and work on this game, and so they just paid us for work that they cannot use. Investors hate to hear that. Money people hate to hear that. And studio heads especially hate to hear that. For the fucking CEO, they hate to hear that. Like, people can get fired over this shit, and it has happened. Like, working in this industry can be very stressful. Especially after you set, like, a bad name for yourself. Oof, yikes. This is what developers mean when they say, yeah, we hold each other accountable. This is kind of what that looks like. If you're a fuck-up, it's not really the developers that hold you accountable, it's the studio heads, right? Whoever the fuck is in charge of HR. I don't know if this is true. This is just conspiracy theorists among developers, okay? We say there's a little black book. There's a little black book that you go into, your name. When it pops up in any type of fucking LinkedIn or Indeed interview, it's just poof. You're gone. Out of the fucking results. They don't even see your application. The only way you can get in is through nepotism. You have to say you know somebody, and they have to vouch for you. And HR does not know your name by heart, so naturally, after the filters are set, everyone forgets your name. You get back in. That's it. You're okay. Once again, just conspiracy theory. No one knows that this shit is true, except for HR. And the studio leads and studio heads, and those guys are tight-lipped as fuck. They hate talking. Communication is a big issue, not just outside of studios, but inside studios as well. I'm getting to that. So, holy fuck. I forgot my place. So you did all this fucking work. It was for nothing. But studio heads hate to hear that. So we have to hash something together really quickly. We have to do this. Otherwise, somebody's losing their job. Somebody not be here by the end of the week, okay? There are a lot of people competing to get into the games industry. I don't blame these people at all. It's a dream job if you have the passion for it. Otherwise, it's just something that pays pretty well. Depending on your position. Programmers get it, especially good. And they're the people who are last to go as well. For good reason. They maintain the fucking game. Can't really replace that. And this hack job that we do, in order to keep everything together, this accrues something that we call technical debt, where we know something wasn't done the way it was supposed to, obviously. Like, we're all aware of it. But we had to do it, and we're kind of on to the next thing, because there's no time to sit here and, like, fret over if it was done properly. The timeline says that we are behind schedule now, because we have wasted a feature. This is the result of bad planning. This is the result of a bad director, a bad team lead. It's just, we want to take these risks, we want to do crazy shit, cool shit, but then when we have to scrap it, it puts us in this bad place, and now you see why, like, these games are so boring these days. Because God forbid if they weren't boring, like how fucked would we be? Like they better be boring. If they're not, guess who gets the hammer? That's right, us. We get the fucking hammer. We go to shit town. Naturally, this technical debt will come back to bite us in the ass eventually. Like, I can't emphasize this enough. We are all very much aware that we were not supposed to do that. But bad organization, bad planning, bad scheduling, and some bad luck. Yeah, doesn't bode well. I wish it did. This might be a very long episode. And then, of course, I haven't even fucking started talking about contractors and, like... So, imagine that Pokemon scenario comes in, right? You want to patch in Pokemon Quartz. But halfway through your fucking download, you get the other half of the download from somebody else. Just some random guy gives you his half of the download, and you open it up, and it looks nothing like yours. It looks nothing like it. And now you have to spend this time getting his download to work with your download. And it's like, oh my god. Contractors are so fucking powerful. Because you can bring them in, not pay them what they really deserve. Have them sit there on the sidelines doing fuck all for as long as you want. They collect no benefits. They have no insurance. They have no fucking processing plan, no payment plan. Like, it's so good. You can put them with a fucking W-9, and that is the end of the fucking story. You never have to think about these guys again. That is the power of a fucking contractor. And the best part is, because it's a fucking dream industry and everyone wants to be here, they will work, and they will not complain. You have nowhere else to go. That is a common theme through a lot of my videos, I think. This thing of, well, where else are you going to go? What else are you going to do? Nothing. You won't do anything because you can't do anything. And I want to, like, emphasize that because, like, that is the real feeling. Bruce, I want you dead, buddy. Did they boost the damage? There we go. Yeah, so contractors get the shit out of the stick. We have technical debt. We have all these issues, and you can really chalk all of these problems up to who is the team lead, who is leading this project, who is setting these timelines, who the fuck goes to the money people and says, hey, this is what your budget can get us, this is the time we have, good. Team leads aren't just people who have, like, a technical job to do. They're also, like, negotiators. They have to negotiate with the money people because the money people want things done as fast as possible and they want as much money as possible because that will get the stock price up the highest. This time we have to be careful. Especially when you're working at a fucking, like, AAA developer. God, I cannot imagine how bad that is. So, like, your team lead isn't just, like, the guy who knows what the fuck he's doing, or is supposed to know what the fuck he's doing, but he's also the person that's protecting you from the money people. So you have to have a certain amount of reference. You have to have a certain amount of, like, care about him. Because it's him that can determine if your studio gets fucked or not. If you get fucked or not. If you have to work crunch, you're going to work it. I know that it's, like, a common thing, by the way. Is like, oh yeah, developers have to avoid crunch. It's not crunch that's making the games bad. It's not crunch that's making things worse. Like, crunch hurts, right? Nobody likes working more than the fucking 9 to 5. That kind of sucks. But, when you give a shit, and you kind of do have to give a shit when it comes to this industry, to these games, you have to give a shit. When you give a shit, it doesn't really matter. Something that will happen a lot is, you will be... If you ever work, like, indie or solo, you'll find yourself working well beyond, the 8 hours. Like, that is common. That is normal. I'm not saying that should be. And once again, I don't think that crunch is deserved. I don't think anybody likes to work more than the 8 hours they're allotted. But we kind of have to acknowledge here, hey, crunch sometimes is necessary. And god damn it, it kind of does help to have everyone on deck for longer than those fucking 8 hours that we have allocated. Because otherwise, games will take even longer to make. I have to save the timelines for a different fucking video. I don't think I can talk about it here. Because that would take forever. This talk is already taking forever. This is already like 35 minutes of recording. I'm not even to the fucking main part of the conversation yet. I'm so fucked. You put all these things together, you have a situation where it's very easy for the lead to tell the money people, hey, we're going to rush, we're going to make it, okay? We're going to make it, don't pull the funding, don't fire anybody, no layoffs. we're cool, okay? And remember, all of this is because the money people have to go to the fucking CEO and say, hey, um, this is the earnings we can expect for this quarter. And the CEO has to go to their fucking investors and get on a fucking call and say, hey, this is the money you can expect from those stocks that you invested in. And it's kind of full circle because as a developer, if you actually give a shit about your studio, you are invested in your studio. Right? You will open up Robinhood or Webull or whatever the fuck you're using right now, and you will put some money into your studio because you believe in it. That is not uncommon. So it's weird. The developers are answering to the leads. The leads are answering to the money people. The money people are answering to the CEO. The CEO is answering to the investors, and the investors are kind of sort of us. It's kind of funny. Just a little bit funny. Only a little bit. You came back very fast, Bruce. Is he getting closer now? What the fuck? That's crazy. Well, I got what I needed. Moving on. Let's say that you added a fucking middleman into this, right? Let's say you're just a developer working at a fucking developer nest or something. And, your company answers to a publisher. Ooh, this is scary. Publishers are they do not play games, okay? Publishers are the money people if the money people were, like, more competent. It is very scary. Like, you can usually fool the money people by, like, overestimating, like, giving them some bullshit answer about how long this is going to take. How long is it going to take for us to put in a menu? Oh, yeah, it's going to take, like, 3 weeks of time. They don't know. They have no fucking clue how long this is supposed to take. Right? Oh, we have to overhaul our underlying systems, and we have to synergize with our content production team, and the Oracle team has to fucking... You just spit a bunch of bullshit. You just lie to them. And it's usually fine. But game publishers do not play. They have consultants who sit on your team. Like, okay, there's something that happened to me, right? We were working, and we got, like, this happened mid-development. We got to deal with the publisher. Publisher said, yo, we like your jive. We like your cut. I was about to slap the microphone. We like your cut, G. Yo, let us put our backing behind your game, right? We'll handle the marketing. Because marketing is a big part of gaming. Oh my god, it's such a big part. As it turns out, consumers have no idea where the fuck to go if they want to find cool shit. And so you have to market properly, or otherwise no one will ever hear of your fucking game. It is super fucked. Ooh, there's a raft over there. I'll get my little, this the right way? Yeah. Like that. Okay. And then let's get an anchor. Alright, we're going to get that thing, whatever that is. It's just this... like, we were like, okay, cool, we got a fucking publisher, this is huge for us. Because, like, none of us know marketing. None of us know what the fuck is going on, none of us know what the fuck to do. And these guys said, yo, we will take care of it. Just trust us, bro, okay, we got this, we got you. They're so friendly, they're so nice, it was all bullshit. So, like, I don't know, like maybe like 2 weeks after we got this this publisher, they came to us and said, hey, we want to add some resources to your team. That's what they said, add some resources. We're like, add some resources? What do you mean add resources? How are you going to do that? They're like, well, we have this this group of like 6 people, right? They're industry veterans. You can trust them. They will work with you. They will make the creation of this game as smooth as possible. Now, of course, our lead, who also was the owner of our company, was like, huh, that sounds great. Because, you know, leads, they don't give a fuck about actually, like... It's very seldom that the lead is working on the game, okay? Very seldom that they're in the den with us. Usually it's the developers in the den, and then the lead is off doing his marketing shit, because he's the lead, and it's his responsibility to keep this entire operation afloat. It's our job to make the game actually a fucking game. We have to have trust in each other, right? The lead has to trust we're going to do our fucking job without his direct supervision, and direct know-how, and we have to trust that the lead's not going to fuck us, and not make us work overtime, and not make us fucking... stay here on Christmas, because that has happened. Anyway, so the lead says, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Bring him over. And these guys come in. And they're like, they're the most shady... I don't want to call them shady. Listen, if you work as a fucking, like, contractor for a publisher, I don't mean to call you shady, okay? But you guys are kind of fucking shady. It's kind of weird that you guys just roll up like you have fucking black trench coats on or some shit. You just come to the fucking studio and say, hey, um, we're so tell us where to go. We'll fucking do it. And then like in 2 weeks, flat, they take over the entire operation. It's their lead all of a sudden becomes our lead. It's like, wait a second. Why the fuck are you why are you leading this project? Well, we have 20 years of experience and you are a fucking child. How about you shut up? Oh. If you tell them to fuck off, they go to your boss and they say, hey, it sounds like you have a fucking sounds like you have an attitude issue with this employee right here. You know, we have more people at our publisher, you know, the people who are fucking funding your operation. We have more people there who could potentially help out if this person is like giving you trouble or whatever. Like they're putting like invisible pressure on us to do whatever the fuck they say. And it's like, I don't know if this is just a horror story or what. I'm sure it's not always like this. I'm sure there's publishers out there that give a shit, but I don't trust publishers. I've never known a publisher, like, even the publishers that have fantastic PR, like Devolver, oh my god, their PR is fantastic. I've never known a publisher that actually gave a shit about the studio that they're working with. Because at the end of the day, they're a business. They have to make money. And making money goes counter to being good, you know? Being a good person. I talked about this before, too. You can't be a good person and make money. That's not how this works. And it's like, anything that you do wrong, they will snitch on you to the publisher. Anything that they see as inefficient, anything that doesn't go into their personal workflow, they're bringing to your team. Yeah, god damn it. There's so much like espionage. It's so weird that's going on in the games industry. And I understand why no one wants to fucking address it. Hell, I'm not really fucking addressing it directly either. I'm not naming names. Because you can get in some serious trouble. Like I said, that conspiracy about the blacklist, I don't know, man. That kind of makes sense to me. Like, I believe it. Do I need that island? I don't think I do. Need more plastic is what the fuck I need. I want to bring us back to, like, the original topic of this discussion, right? The fucking nexus point of all this. The studios that you loved when you were younger are not the same studios anymore. Like, from what I've talked about so far, I'm sure you're able to understand there's, like, a certain type of pressure that comes from being a developer, right? Like I said, we hold each other accountable, whether we want to or not. And it's kind of shitty, kind of sucks. It's easy to burn out. If you've never had a bad experience, good for you. Whoop-de-doo. Alright, fucking goody two-shoes, okay? But if you've ever had one bad experience, that's all you need. That's all you need to say, fuck it, I'm done forever. I'm never doing this shit again. Those people that you loved, that made these fucking games for you, those people that made these amazing experiences that you'll remember for the rest of your fucking life, there's a good chance they're not making games anymore. There's a good chance those crucial people, those particular people, 100 out of tens of thousands, they're not here. They're gone. Most likely retired. And, like, can't emphasize this enough. That really does suck. Like, BioWare is dead. And you have no one to blame. You have no idea what the fuck is going on. And you can't be blamed for that. Like, there's a high turnover rate in this fucking industry. And no one wants to fucking admit it. They will suck you up for all your fucking creative juices and spit you out. And I can't emphasize this enough. If you aren't the team lead, you have to bend down to their whims. You have to do what the fuck they say. When you go to a lot of these companies, unless you're working indie, unless you're working at a very small studio, there's a good chance that your talents, everything that you showed in your art station, those things are not really going to matter. What will make you succeed here at this company is being a good employee. It's following whatever the fuck rules we set up and being competent at that. If the rules we set up are nonsensical, well, get fucked. That's it. You kind of have to trust the authority of the studio that, yeah, the tools that we've set up, the Trello that we have set up is logical and it makes sense. And this all comes down to the fucking team lead. Video game development is no longer a collaborative process. Maybe it was in John Romero days. It is not a collaborative process anymore. With the caveat of, you know, smaller studios. Because they have no choice but to make it collaborative over there. So we come to the thing of like, okay, then who the fuck do I blame? How do I make this fucking better? And gamers kind of have no choice but to lash out at like Emil Pagariolo. You don't know anyone else. You have to look at the credits, look at who the team lead is, and even though it's not 100% his fault, maybe somebody's just incompetent somewhere in his pipeline. He has no clue. Because like I said, it's a trust thing. You have to trust the team lead not to fuck you. You have to trust, and the team lead has to trust that you're not going to fuck anything up. Like, a lot of the times, it's the team lead's fault. This is 100% true, and that's why I say I'm halfway on this issue. It is very likely that Starfield is a fucking mess. Not in terms of, like, games, but, like, not necessarily as, like, gameplay or, bugs or anything. But in terms of, like, direction. Like, it feels like it wants to be a million things at once. That's very likely the team lead's problem. That's his issue. Because he's the team lead. Your job at the studio is to be a good cog. The team lead tells you where to go. He steers the ship. The director steers the ship. I've been using the terms interchangeably, by the way. There is a difference between a director and a team lead. A team lead, because some of these companies are very large, right? And they cannot manage thousands of employees efficiently. So there has to be someone who handles all the art. I'm talking all of it, right? There has to be someone who fucking handles all the music, all the sound. Someone who handles all the animations, and they are the team leads. They are the animation lead. They are the art lead. They are the narrative lead. That's what I mean when I say team lead. I should have explained that sooner. We are like 15 minutes into this raw recording. I don't know what this is going to edit down to. So the team lead, they're responsible for a lot of this. It is their fault. You do blame the team lead. But sometimes it's not the team lead. Sometimes it's not their fault. And what the fuck do you do when you get a certain fucking quest line that you think is absolutely trash? What happens? You have no idea who the fuck that is. And then through, like, I don't know, fucking nepotism of some kind, they get picked up by a bigger studio, and then they're the fucking team lead. And you have no fucking clue. And then you put down $70 onto a game that you're kind of like having blind fucking trust in, faith that they're not going to fuck you and not make you waste your money. And, yeah, it's a fucking disaster. It's a shit show. It didn't work out. Well, you're kind of shit out of luck. Nothing you can do about it. And that's not good. That's not good at all. Did I ever pick up a net blueprint? No. No, I did not. I would like to emphasize again. In films and TV shows, they know who the fuck to blame. If a director makes a bad call, it is on the fucking director. There is no question. Right? No one ever says, oh, but this person, you can't pick out certain people. That's wrong. No one says that. Because you are the fucking director. You are the director. You are the team lead. It is you who did this. You steered the ship, and you steered it into a fucking quagmire. You steered this into a fucking iceberg. It was you. It was your fault. That's not just cathartic, because, you know, people are fucking petty, and we're human, and that's what it is. But, like, it's important, because now you know, I'm never going to watch another Joss Whedon film again. Never, ever, ever. I'm never going to watch another Night M. Shyamalan, or whatever the fuck director of your choice is. I'm never going to fucking do it. And you have that power, and that gives you so much power as a consumer. A power that you will now be able to wield properly because you have the knowledge. Knowledge is so, oh my god, knowledge is so fucking important when it comes to this stuff. But we don't have that. We don't have it, and people are scared to make it happen. You shouldn't be scared. You shouldn't feel bad about fucking team leads making you buy shit for, once again, for 8 times the price of a fucking movie ticket. You can buy 10 movie tickets to go see 10 separate movies for the price that you paid for a AAA game. You don't have to feel bad. It's not your job to feel bad. It's up to you to buy these things. It's up to you to say, oh, this was made by this developer, I'm not going to purchase it. Back in the day, there was this company, the villain of the Angry Video Game Nerd, okay? They're called LJN. Very funny studio, alright? These guys were just contractors, right? They're like subcontractors. So they will contract the work out to other contractors. That's who these guys are. And it's no surprise that the games that came out of their fucking offices were absolutely dog shit because there was no central vision. There's nothing. Games didn't have to be trash back in those days, you know? And NES games didn't have to cause the crash. Well, Atari games didn't have to cause the crash of the video game industry. It didn't have to happen. But it did. Money speaks. A lot of people got rich back then. Just like right now, actually. And I'm not ready to talk about that right now. I'm not ready to talk about a second video game crash. Yeah, we have these villains, these very obvious villains, and we just stopped playing their fucking games. If you saw the rainbow, you knew it was a sham. Unfortunately, your parents didn't fucking know, and you would say, Mom, if there's a rainbow on the box, do not buy this. It's like, rainbow. And it's small little rainbow in the corner of the fucking box. Of course she's not gonna fucking see it, okay? Because she's not paying attention. She's like, what is this? Is that like the Mario? Is that like that Pokemon? Like, your mom is not the best fucking consumer, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry you lost so many Christmases away. I'm sorry she wasted so much. I'm sorry you got stuck with Eternal Sonata instead of fucking Tales of Symphonia, and it's not a personal story that didn't happen to me. Absolutely fucking not. We know the studio's a villain, and like by time they were done, by the time they were done bending us over the fucking tire and fucking taking us raw, uh, they left. They bowed out. They closed. They shut down. We never really had to worry about that studio again. It was kind of relegated to legend. It's just old video game history. We don't think about LJN. Well, now, BioWare is parading around the corpse of old BioWare. 343 is parading around the corpse of Bungie. Bungie is parading around the corpse of Bungie. You have to understand the name of a company. Bethesda is parading around the corpse of Bethesda. The name of the company does not matter. The people behind it, you have no clue who they are. And when they leave, it's silent. You hear a fucking... who was he? Jason Schreier? No, you hear a fucking article from this guy. He says, well-respected writer for this franchise has left. Well, which writer? There was like 6 fucking writers. Was he the important one? I don't know. No one knows. Like, he could have been important, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was one of the writers that should have gone. Maybe it was a good thing that he's gone. You do not know. You know nothing. Game development is very insular, right? Developers do not like to talk to players because players can be unreasonable. And do not fuck with me. Don't lie to me. Don't say, no, we're playing... No, you guys are kind of fucked. Okay? Like, death threats? I'm not saying all of you, but, like, the fact that could even happen, the fact that, like, that's even on the table as an option, that's kind of crazy. Death threats? Are we being real? Like, you're actually doxing people? That's real? You guys are doing that? Why? Like, I'm so fucking curious to interview who these people are that are, like, ruining and poisoning the well for everybody else because, like, they absolutely have a part to play in why video games are dog shit right now. Because developers are scared. They're scared to communicate. They're scared to say anything. Like, I'm not telling you what fucking games I worked on. I'm not saying that shit. Are you crazy? Are you absolutely fucking nuts? That doesn't lead to a good situation for me at all. I get it. I really do sympathize. But at the same time, I can't really forgive developers for playing complicit. You know? They're letting our industry die. Everything is so separated. And like I said, this is not a collaborative process anymore. The heads have no idea what the feet are doing. That's not good. It's not good that we have studio heads that have never played a video game in their fucking life. I've seen people come into these companies who do not give a shit about video games. They don't care. And it's like, how could you possibly be here without giving a shit about video games? Why are you here? Who brought you here? Obviously someone brought them here, because you don't just come in here unless you care, unless you give a shit. This is a dream job for a lot of people. People come in here so fucking passionate, and then they get fucking squeezed for all they're worth. You can't even get squeezed. Who the fuck are you? These people will sit here working on the next Halo. They've never played Halo before in their fucking lives. They saw the Halo TV show. Oh yeah, I think I saw my little brother playing that Mario game. What have you played? Oh nah, that's not for me. What do you do? What do you do in your free time? What's your hobby? Oh, you know, I like to go on long walks on the beach and hike and look at rocks. I love looking at rocks. What's to be done, man? I can't talk about this too much right now. I want to make a developer collective. A collective that's, like, ethical, you know? A collective is different than, like, a company, because a collective is informal. You can leave and join at any time. Makes no fucking difference. I want to make a collective where if something goes wrong in a game you're playing that's made by any of us, it says right there on the fucking front of the tin, this is who you blame. If there's something wrong with this game, if I have fucked something up, you blame Luther. That is like the title credits. Before you see anything else about this fucking game, you see the words, blame Luther. But conversely, if everything goes right, if you play something that impacts you and, like, it hits you in a way that you've never fucking felt before, if you feel things you were never supposed to fucking feel, I still want you to know who the fuck to blame for that. If you experience something that you probably will never experience again, I want you to know that you can blame Luther for that. That's what I want. I don't want to talk about the collective's values outside of, like, being somewhat ethical. I don't really care about your fucking personal politics. I don't care if you're just an artist or you just make sound effects or you just make music. I don't give a shit. I want the collectives to be a shared resource between developers. I want to be this thing where, like, I use the Pokemon ROM hack, for example. There's this shitty thing Nintendo did back in the day where they shut down a Pokemon ROM hack that was like 7 years in the making. The day it came out, it was only up for like 12 hours before they got rid of it. It was called Pokemon Uranium. Uranium's dead. The project's dead. It's no longer being developed. They had a lot of shit planned, but they couldn't do it because the moment they announced it, poof, DMCA by Nintendo. I want the collective to be insulated against that type of shit. I don't want anyone to fear that everything they've worked for can be taken away from them. If you want to make a fucking like remake of Kingdom Hearts 2 without the permission of Square, I don't want you to fucking stress anything about it. The only stipulation is, of course, you can't fucking charge for it or ask for donations. But like, I want you to be able to put the fucking brand of, I'm not saying what the collective name is yet, because I'm not done with it. I don't want that to be trademarked by somebody. Trademark? Does that matter for a collective? I don't know. I have to research more into this, but I don't want you to stress about it, right? These companies shouldn't be able to come after anybody if they're not explicitly trying to make money off of an IP. If we're not trying to make money off someone's IP, it should be fine. We should have the freedom to make whatever the fuck we want to make. We have the creative freedom to completely fucking remix whatever the fuck we want. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. I want AAA developers to stop sitting in the fucking quagmire assuming that what they know is right, what they know is correct. I want us to get to a point where indies are fully showing off these systems and the way these games are supposed to be. There's so many games that came out recently that have been absolutely dog shit, but they don't have to be. I want this collective of mine to not just insulate you, but facilitate some type of collaboration between us. I think that the best games are made by like-minded individuals. I truly believe that. And that's why I say check the politics at the door. I don't want it to turn into that, and so many organizations turn into that. And I don't know how I'm going to protect against it, which is why I don't want to talk too much about this, but I hate my industry. I hate the CEOs who run it. I hate the investors who buy into it, not really understanding what they're buying. I hate the money people who have these dogmatic views of what video games are supposed to be without never having played a video game themselves. I hate team leads and the fucking game directors who come onto these fucking projects and fail to protect their people. Who come onto these projects because they were promised a big payout. Maybe they're in it with the fucking CEOs. Who knows? I hate that they don't fucking talk to the developers. I hate they don't fucking talk to us, the gamers. I consider myself a gamer more than a developer because I detest this industry. I hate the developers who fucking sit here conceitedly, who half of them don't even give a fuck about this industry. They don't care about what the fuck is going on in it. The other half, it's their dream job and they can't fucking speak out because they're too scared they're going to lose it all. I hate that we're complicit. I hate that we let it happen. I hate that it's come to this. I hate the fucking journalists and the fucking YouTubers who fucking sit there and they'll give this fucking game an 8 out of 10 and not at all disclose, oh, by the way, it has microtransactions. You know those things that are poisoning this industry? Yeah, it has them. It's not factoring into the fucking score. It's not factoring into their fucking review. It's just a fucking side note at most. I hate that they don't just fucking not review it. I hate that they're too scared to lose their fucking privileges in their review codes to speak out meaningfully. And more than anything, I hate the gamers. I hate us. I hate you. I hate that you feed this beast. I hate that no matter what, it doesn't fucking matter. I hate that there was a fucking protest for Hong Kong and Blizzard cracked down on it and this fucking Hearthstone player. And all the gamers said, we're not going to let that fucking happen. I'm deleting my fucking Blizzard account. And then as soon as Diablo 4 came out, they sold $660 million worth. I hate that you bought it. I hate that you couldn't fucking control yourself, that in this system called capitalism, you couldn't fucking use your greatest superpower to choose what you buy. And I hate that you got burned. And I hate that you don't give a fuck. I hate that you are the fuel that keeps this beast ruining us. The beast would starve without food, and you keep feeding it, you keep giving it money. You keep buying the microtransactions. Every single last one of you that's ever bought a microtransaction, I don't care if it was $2.50, you were guilty. And I hate that I am also guilty. I hate that I bought a season pass for a game that didn't deserve it. I hate that we let free-to-play models come into our fucking pay-to-play. I hate that game prices have gone up from $50. I hate that games take 7 years to make. And you can't do it in 2 years anymore. No, technology is not the fucking issue. It is not an issue of technology. It is an issue of management. It is an issue of scheduling. It is an issue of people not knowing what the fuck they want to do. It is an issue because this is not a collaborative process. Making games is an issue of diplomacy, and diplomacy is slow. I hate every single aspect about this fucking industry. I hate that my dream has turned into trash. And it's everyone's fault. And I hate that there's not a fucking fix for it. I want to make a collective. I want to do better. I want to change. I want to set an example. We can't let this continue to happen, can we? I hate so much. I hate so fucking many. And if I haven't been blacklisted already, I'm going to get blacklisted soon because I don't think I can fucking take this anymore. I don't think I can hold my tongue for that much longer. This entire channel, I have avoided talking about the games industry as much as fucking possible because it is my industry. It is part of my fucking profession. I'm a software developer. Half of everything I do is video games, but I fucking hate this. I hate what it's turned into. And I hate the systems that keep it this way. It pisses me off to no end, and I don't think there's much that can be done about it. I just want to do better, I guess. I don't want to change the world. I don't want to be a fucking superhero. I just want to do better. I want us to do better. I want the people who give a shit to do better. I'm tired of these people saying, oh yeah, the issue is capitalism. Oh yeah, the issue is fucking, the issue is politics. Oh yeah, the issue is fucking woke skulls. I don't think that's true. None of that is true. None of that's even a fucking factor. The real issue is no one gives enough of a fuck to change anything. And the people who do find out very quickly that you can't. And they burn up, like fucking Icarus, flying too close to the motherfucking sun. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. It really does. This is going to go through the island. I don't know if they ever fix that. We're going this way. Listen, man, I can't talk about the collective yet. I want more time. And more than anything, I want to establish credibility for myself. And that's probably going to take an indie game or two. That's going to take time. It's going to take a couple years. But I'm okay with waiting. Because this industry is not getting better anytime soon. I know that. I'm not going to fucking sit here and rush. I want things to get better before they get any worse. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I want things to get even worse. So that what I'm saying becomes even more fucking important. So that people stop ignoring it. Like this issue is going to disappear if we just close our fucking eyes. I want my peers to be able to, like, see this video come out and they're like, God, you're not fucking crazy, Luther. I want my fucking concerns to be heard and, like, not just heard. I want something to be fucking done. I don't want a fucking action plan to be put in place by management or HR or something. I want things to fucking change. But things are not going to fucking change. Unless the world fucking changes, things are not going to change. Like I said, this is not an issue of capitalism. It's not a capitalism issue. It's not even a fucking major factor. It's just how humans are. Even without a fucking stock market, things are going to be like this somehow. In a world where anyone can get one up on anyone else, you need systems of power to keep everyone in check. And there's no systems of power to keep the gaming industry in check. We wanted to avoid legislation and all this shit for the longest time, but we need help. We cannot do this on our own, and it's been proven. It's been proven that if you leave fucking game developers and game publishers and all these people up to their own devices, they're going to screw the pooch. They're going to fuck us. They're going to fuck us senseless. They're going to bend us over and fuck us. And I don't want it to be like this. Listen, man, I'm tired. I'm tired, and I don't like being tired. I didn't mean for this to turn into a fucking rant. I was going to chill and play some Raft, dude. What the fuck?